Okay, this is Bill Apter, and we're speaking here with Terry Funk. Terry, you have started something that a lot of wrestlers have been copying recently. You found a reversal method to Jack Briscoe's figure-four-leglock, but you've still been unable to get the title from him. Do you feel kind of flattered that these other wrestlers are imitating you now and reversing this move?
Not necessarily flattered. I feel that I've come across something that can be a tremendous advantage to you in a match against Jack Briscoe, and what that is a figure-four reversal. What you do is you try to turn a man completely over whenever he has a figure-four leg lock on you. In so doing, you have a form of a Klingman toe hold, which was originated by Otis Klingman years ago, and I'm sure that you are familiar with that, or a lot of the wrestling fans are. And it puts the leverage on the knee, binding the knee, and you put tremendous pressure on it, and you can come up with a victory, a complete reversal into a submission hold. It's what's so unique about this. And I don't think that they're necessarily copying me for flattery on my part. I think that they just see a chance to possibly winning that World Heavyweight Championship.
Right, now Terry, a lot of wrestlers have said that Terry Funk is a turncoat. He joined Gary Hart's stable for a while, and guys like Dusty Rhodes were saying bad things about you. What's your reaction about this whole situation?
My reaction is like this, is I love the world of professional wrestling. Ever since I was knee-high, I always had one thing on my mind. I never wanted to be never had any idea of being a fireman or being a doctor or a lawyer or anything like this. I always wanted to be a professional wrestler, but when growing up and coming through the ranks, well, my father taught me that one of the important things was making $1 too. And this is what I do, is I'm out there to do my best to win as many matches as possible, and where the money is at its highest, well, that's where you're going to find Terry Funk. And
does this mean even if you have to turn your back on friends like Dick Murdoch and other people?
When I step into that ring, other than my brother, I have no friends.
Okay, now, you and Dory have teamed very often, hold the International Tag Team Championship, but the bitter feud with the Briscoes just hasn't seemed to end it yet. Is there more hostility yet growing into this feud between you and the Briscoes? Is there still jealousy on both parts?
Well, there sure is, because it's a matter of being the most dominant family in professional wrestling. It's either the Briscoes or the Funks. Right at the moment, as I feel that Dory Jr. and I have more experience on Jack and Jerry, but they do have their World Heavyweight Championship belt at their advantage. A lot of people compare us. I don't think that there's any comparison between the two. I think Junior and I have showed that by being constantly ranked in the top 5 professional wrestlers, or top 10 in the past 4 to 5 years. We're both tremendous athletes, but the Briscoes are up there because of Jack having that World Heavyweight Championship, and because Jerry is a fine competitor himself. But I think that we are the most dominant family in professional wrestling today. I think that if we was to ever get in the ring, I know that they continually duck and dodge us. We're not ducking and dodging them. We're opening them for a match anytime that they want to have it. But for possibly the last 2 years, 2 to 2.5 years, we haven't been in a ring against Jack and Jerry Briscoe. Why? It's not because we haven't wanted to. It must be evidently them, because they've been dodging us. And I know that Jack's been dodging us because he doesn't necessarily want to put up that World Heavyweight Championship against Dory Jr. or myself, because Jack is in a funny position. See, he's in the same position that Dory Jr. was. What that position is that he's got to go ahead and he's got to meet all comers night after night after night after night. And Dory Jr. and I can go ahead and can concentrate on him and his particular style, study him, work for one particular match in which we might have with Jack Briscoe, which I've been running for a long, dry run right now. And if I know that I can get myself mentally prepared for a match with this man, whereas he can't. He's got too many, Jack can't get prepared for a mentally for me and mentally up for me, because he's got too many competitors that he's got to meet along the way, whereas we can just concentrate on one man.
Okay, Terry, let me ask you this. Word had it in the wind that Dory and yourself had built up some animosity between each other because you started hanging around guys like Bill Miller and Kowalski and, that sort. Was there any truth to this?
No, not at all. No truth at all to that. Between Junior and I, you mean?
Yeah, because of the people you started to keep company with. In other words, Dory Jr., was sticking around guys that stick to the rules, let's say, and you were going tagging with guys like Bill Miller and other rule breakers.
Yeah, I understand completely what you're saying. Dorym Jr., the first that Dorym Jr. goes ahead and he feels this way about it. He feels that I'm free, 21, I'm past 21 years of age, I'm a man. What I do is my own choosing. What he does is to his own choosing. We love each other. We always have loved each other. I know that whenever I was just a boy, well, we had an old pet dog out there that went ahead and bit me on the leg one day, and Junior went ahead and took the dog out behind the house and shot the dog because it bit me. That's because it bit me, and that's how strong the love is between he and I. I know at one time Bob Ellis went ahead and injured me whenever I first started professional wrestling, and Dorym Jr. felt like he took advantage of me, and he went ahead and got a hold of Bob Ellis and tore out Bob Ellis's knee. This is just the way that Junior is.
Terry, you brought up Bob Ellis, something I want to bring up there. Bob Ellis was the first guy to ever reverse the figure-four leg lock. He did it on Buddy Rogers. Did you pattern your method after Ellis's?
No, I didn't. That was, I went to Pat O'Connor. I talked to Pat O'Connor, who was a former user of the figure-four leg lock. I went ahead and went to Nick Kozak and studied him and his ideas on the figure-four leg lock. I talked to a lot of people that used the figure-four leg lock, and that's where I came up with the reversal. I wasn't aware that Cowboy Bob Ellis had used the reversal before against Buddy Rogers.
Okay, Bill Apter with Terry Funk.